Hi Rachel, so great to hear you on the panel. That was a fabulous panel. I always love it when there's a few women and men because it's such a balanced conversation and it seems to be more interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for participating.
Very welcome, it was great.
And I know that you work at DFJ as a female venture capitalist. Do you want to talk about how that feels to be a female VC? I mean, what are the opportunities and what are the disadvantages?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the truth is that I don't notice it that much in my day-to-day.
Right.
In my last life, I was a PhD student in a chemistry lab doing computer programming, and I was also the only woman there in my floor.
Okay.
And it just depends on people you work with. I work with incredibly smart, wonderful people, and they just don't, it never registers for me that I'm a woman. I notice it more in the boardroom, where I'm the only woman and I'm often younger than most people there.
Okay.
And I notice it out in the outside environment, but in the office environment, it's been amazing for me. I think we place as a team a real value on cognitive diversity, and so that's gender diversity, but it's every other cognitive style you can imagine, from upbringing to gender, background, education, and also your natural genetic style. How do you think through things? What are the problems that resonate for you? What's your process of chewing on something? Mm-hmm. And for us, it's very valuable to have a team that's very diverse in all cognitive ways, so that the sum of the decision making is stronger than all the parts. And that's the only place I really ever notice it.
And of course, Tim Draper is such a proponent of women, both investing in women very early in the piece, and also he was very acknowledging of women on his team when I interviewed him many years ago. So
no, Tim is wonderful. All my partners are great to work for, and Tim too.
And what is it that you guys like to invest in? Is there anything in particular yourself that you have a passion for investing in?
So we break down. I have a lot of passions. That's the job of being a VC, is learning about a lot of things and getting passionate about a lot of things. We break our whole investment area into three practice areas or focus areas, and consumer, enterprise are the classic, and then something we call disruptors, which is everything else, and it's drones and robots and synthetic biology and space and a lot of really fun stuff. I spend a lot of time doing that with Steve, especially in synthetic biology because I'm trained as a scientist. I find it very interesting. I love going deep with founders technically in that area. I love the enterprise space, and I do a lot of consumer stuff actually partially because I'm a woman. So when we look at consumer internet deals, it's nice to have a lot of different demographics represented in the room. So I end up splitting my time, which is fantastic for me.
And last question, and then I know you've got to race off. I'm really interested in what's happening in the venture industry, big changes in the last 12 months. And obviously the Jobs Act is one instigator of that. There's obviously opportunities and challenges in that. What's your viewpoint on that?
So the venture industry is changing in a ton of ways. It's changing mega funds, micro funds, what's happening in the incubator world, what's happening in the LP community, what's happening just in the venture industry itself. So I'll answer part of it, which is just in the before it gets to us phase, which I think is what I see the most. And to me, a lot of people feel threatened by the micro VC or incubator communities. To me, it's a huge opportunity. It's even more training, insight, development, knowledge gets passed on to entrepreneurs before they even come to our doors. There's more grounds for us to go find them and meet them and work with them maybe for a year before we would even invest in them. So I think it's great. To me, it's good. It's good for DFJ and it's good for entrepreneurs. They've had practice pitching. They know what an investor is thinking. They know that an investor has different motivations and that we have a different boss than they do, and that's one of the reasons that conflicts can arise. So they've already gone through that sort of basic training, which means by the time they come to us or we develop relationships with them, it's an even richer conversation. So that's great.
So you're not seeing any real big challenges either for VCs or for entrepreneurs?
There's always challenges, and that's a good thing. Sometimes because of the micro VCs and the incubator community, certain deals can become very, very competitive because everyone is seeing things at a similar time in a similar space. But that doesn't mean you can't go dig other places, which is why we like investing in spaces that other people aren't looking at. We like to be a sort of contrarian in the places that we look, and hopefully you're right, and then hopefully your investments do well.
Fabulous. Well, thanks so much for talking to me
Thanks
today.
For
it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Okay.